Hello guys, this is part 4 of chat app. Last time we built this lesson that we are going to run as a thread. Like in our the same goes for the send, but the only difference is that we're gonna use a while true before everything, before we can set a while, maybe a send condition or something. A while true, and below we're gonna try things out. Okay, and of course there's an except maybe time sleep you can pass in. When I like to try things, I just do time sleep, then upon 5, then maybe sometimes I print a message so I can get an idea of what's happening. In this case we're gonna try, then there's an except. Afterwards we're gonna use the while maybe let's say remote con is true, like in here, and below it we're gonna define the remote remote socket. So remote socket is equal to socket dot socket, and then we open this, then socket dot af inet, and then there is socket dot sock stream this way. And instead of binding, we're going to try to connect to the other listen socket that's opened on another chat app. So socket dot connect, and we have to pass in the address IP, maybe remote IP, and also remote port this way. Okay, and while this is true, while we are connected, we're gonna try to send our message. So we're gonna say that maybe let's say if the message is different than an empty string, we're gonna send. Okay, we can't send something that's empty. Okay, else we're gonna keep sending. So if the remote message, the message that we want to send, is different than this, than empty, it's not empty, we're gonna say remote socket dot send, then maybe bytes, and then we're gonna say remote message as UTF 8. And if we do this, we're gonna be sending infinitely. So we have to reset this into remote message is equal to nothing. Okay, because we're gonna get this remote message from this text input. Okay, from this message ID. Okay, so to do that we have to define some globals so that we can pass in this message ID as a remote message, and also in our welcome screen this remote IP and remote port is going to be grabbed from this text input, IP ID and port ID. So for the globals we're going to use going to say remote message and also remote IP and also remote port. Maybe gonna say we're gonna use the remote condition. Okay, and the listen that we created in the previous videos, we also gonna use some globals. So we're gonna maybe use the let's say the listen message the message that we received. And also gonna use the remote IP and the remote port, not the remote, but actually the listen IP. Okay, in here I have used this, and let's just keep it this way. Let's just keep it this way and only use and only define the listen condition and only add the listen condition. And now that we have two functions, our two functions, our two sockets, we have to define them as a thread. If you do not understand the threading, like I told you, you can check the threading video. It is very straightforward. So let's define this as thread 1. Thread 1 is equal to threading and then thread, and then we have to pass in a target. So target is equal to, let's say, send this way, and let's call it sender this way. And for the thread of the listen, we're gonna say this thread number 2, and the target is listen this way. And down below I think that we have to remove this and say that thread 1 dot start, and in here we're gonna say thread 2 dot start, and below we're gonna start our app. So thread target is equal to the app.run this way. And there is one more thing which I want to do right now, is that I'm gonna declare, no, I'm not gonna declare it. No, I wanted to declare this remote socket as a global. Then after we close our app, I'm gonna close the app. But let's just stick with the ending, just the two loops. So let's say that remote con is true, it's false, to stop the loops, and remote and listen condition. Listen con is false this way. And of course, up in here, we have to set this remote condition is equal to, let's set it to false first, and there's the remote listen, set it to true. And what else? We have remote IP, we're gonna say that it's nothing, and maybe remote port, let's say it's 0 or nothing. And also we have to pass in the listen. So listen message is let's say that this message is nothing this way, and we have a listen count. So we used it up here, we declared it up there. I think that's all. And let me check the recording time. We are at 9 minutes. Let's just start our virtual machine. You can see that I have an Ubuntu, and this virtual machine, I'm going to use this application. I'm going to run this application on it. Okay. And let me just check. Maybe we have something. Maybe you have something wrong, or I don't know. in here, after that we initiate. Actually, in our welcome screen, we have this text input. We have an IP ID and a port ID. So in here, we have to do this. So global, let's say remote, not message. First, let's say remote port, remote IP, and also let's pass in remote port this way. Okay, and we're gonna say that the remote port, the remote IP is equal to self.ids dot IPID dot text, and for dot text, and for the port we're going to say that remote port is equal to self dot ids dot port id dot text, but we have to convert it to an integer, so this way. And after this we have to say that we have to change this condition. Okay, we are trying, but the condition is false, is set to false in here, so we have to set it to be true. Okay, so in here we have to say that remote condition is true, and in here also declare it as global, so remote condition this way. And I think that's all for this we're setting the send, and also we are binding. So in here let's just type in some messages. Maybe let's say that in here, let's say that print that we are connected, just to check. And in here let's say that print that we are maybe listening, or something like this. Maybe bind it better, bind it this way. And I think that's all. Let me check the recording time. I think we are at the limit. Next time we're gonna try this. Maybe type a few more lines and try it and see if it works. For now, let's go to our virtual machine. You can see that it's in Ubuntu. So let me just log in. I'm giving it 2 gigabytes of RAM, so it's a little bit slow, but it doesn't matter. Let me open the files and let's go to other locations. I think I have my own IP address as it's in SSH with the SSH sharing, so I go to the desktop and then try to copy the application. So I give you this chat app and there's part 4. Then copy this and go to home, and in here let's create a folder, or let's go to the desktop and then create a folder. We call it chat app this way. Let's pass in the files, and that's all. In the next video we're gonna run this and run the application on the actual machine and see if we are able to send messages or not. Maybe write more few lines before we're gonna test it. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can like and subscribe, share. If you don't understand something, you can leave a comment. And that's all for this one.